There are several of these. One thing which caught my attention was this bicistronic, so two antigens as well. So CD19 and CD22 targeting, and it's called Auto3 product. And this is another CAR T product. And this was combined with PD-1 inhibitor, Pembrolizumab. So this was also presented at EHA. And I think the rationale for doing it is some people who get CAR T therapy can have antigen loss. So if someone loses CD19 on the tumor, even if you have CAR T cells which are targeted against CD19, then it may not be as effective. Or there is also this concept of T cell exhaustion. So if there is overexpression of immunosuppressive molecules like PD-1, PD-L1, then the T cells, which are supposed to go and kill the tumor cells, may not be as effective. So this group of investigators, they combined they try to overcome these things by adding, using targets for two antigens, CD19 and CD22. And so, that kind of increases the chances of maintaining some T cell effector towards the B cells. And then the other part was to overcome T cell exhaustion by using Pembrolizumab. So a very interesting study, early results. But with this, they saw a really good response rates. They also did not see, high amount of toxicity. In fact, the toxicity was fairly low with this in terms of CRS and neurologic events. So it's very encouraging that they were able to maintain, good, efficacy and low toxicity with this combination. So I would expect, this being a very effective strategy. I believe, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe they were even able to do some outpatient, but I can't recollect of if that was absolutely there or not. So that I thought was a very interesting, field. And the other things, for example, there was a study presented for TCB, and this is Glofitamab. And Glofitamab is bispecific antibody, but basically it has specificity to CD20 and CD3. But the interesting thing with this is that there are two targets for CD20, and there's one for CD3. So there are two CD20 binding sites and one CD3 binding site. And as a single agent, this had very good activity in relapsed and refractory B-cell lymphoma. They looked at patients with aggressive lymphoma, and they looked at patients with follicular lymphoma or indolent lymphomas rather. And they saw, this was as a single agent, seeing results with about half the patients responding, and in terms of I think a third of the patients had a complete response. And in indolent lymphoma, they saw about 2/3 of the patients responding, about 50% had a complete response. And the complete responses were durable. So, this is a fantastic development. We've had some experience with this type of antibody at our site as well, combining it with chemotherapy, and it really looks like a very effective thing. There are obviously many other bispecific antibodies from different companies. One example which comes to mind is Mosunetuzumab, but there are several others which are racing out there. But this is another field which is really becoming like a new advancement in relapsed and refractory B-cell lymphomas. Now, just moving a little bit to another exciting compound, we've talked a lot about immunotherapy with CAR T cells, and then also with bispecific antibody, which is also basically using T cells to kill B cells. But I think another one would be Trastuzumab. So when we start thinking about ADCs or antibody conjugates, those are also very, very effective in lymphoma. We've all heard about rituximab, which is the CD30 ADC in Hodgkin lymphoma and T-cell lymphomas, but loncastuximab, CD19 ADC, and that had nice activity in lymphomas. This has been presented, data with this agent has been presented in the past in previous meetings, but specifically at the EHA meeting, there was a study which was presented where they saw that it had, overall response rate. About half the patients, I think, responded, and about a quarter of the patients had complete responses. So I think that is another advancement. These treatments, even if they don't give you very long-term responses, like curative kind of responses, you could always use this as a bridge to something more definitive, because often what we find is we find it very difficult for aggressive lymphomas to have control of the disease, that we can give more definitive treatments like transplants and so forth. So if you have agents which are able to take patients who are otherwise refractory to other treatments, but even if we can get them into a deep disease control, that buys you some time. So we often say these can be used as a bridge to more definitive treatments. So, if a single agent has a good activity, you can use that as a bridge, or you could perhaps combine it with chemotherapy agents to further increase their efficacy. So I thought, those are two which come up of mind as good options.